Noodling is the sport of catfishing by using your hand. You don't use a rod and reel, you don't use a hook, you literally use the tools you have. You use your hands, use your feet, some of your senses. I got into this with my father back when I was probably 7, 8 years old, and it's just something we always did. It was kind of one of those things where Dad said we're going catfish, and it was summertime, and I got fired up. And it's one of my fondest childhood memories. It was definitely an experience growing up noodling, and it's something I've carried on and I still enjoy doing to this day. I look forward to June of every year because that's when we go catfishing. That's what we called it then, catfishing. I didn't know any different. It was, hey, we're going catfishing, and we were going noodling. So when I find a big rock and I feel around the bottom of it and I find a hole, take me a good deep breath, I go down, and I start feeling around that hole. Feel around the front, see if it's cleaned out, see if there's any kind of debris. If there's any kind of debris, that's a bad sign, then I might just leave it alone. But sometimes, yeah, there might be a fish in there because he goes under that rock, he cleans it out, makes a nest. The males always go in first, clean the nest out, and then the female comes in later, lays the eggs, and the male fertilizes them. Then the female leaves and the male guards the eggs. But once I go down and I find a hole and I investigate it, I check the front of it, see if it's cleaned out, then I start feeling, stick my hand in, see if anything's in there, start feeling for a fish. Sometimes they'll come meet you right there at the hole, and they don't want you in there. They're trying to run you off. They want you out. That's their home. When he comes up there, sometimes they catch you by surprise. They might hit the side of your hand. They might not hit you ideal. They're trying to run you off, and you don't know where they're coming. You're underwater. You're in their world. Whenever I find one, I come up, get me another deep breath. I start trying to locate him, see where he's at. Get my mind right, go back down there. Then that's when the fun begins, because you know there's a fish in there, and there's nothing better than that feeling when you know there's a fish. But once you get your mind right and you go down there, it's just you and him. When he bites you and you grab a hold of that fish, and he knows you've got a hold of him, and you got a hold of him and you know it, it's the best feeling in the world as far as I'm concerned, because it's what I live for. Every June, here we are. We're out here, we're finding these fish. It's the perfect combination of hunting and fishing. You're fishing because you're looking for fish, but you're hunting because you have to find these holes. You don't know where he's gonna be. You don't know where the next fish is. You've got to go walk down these banks, feeling under rocks for hours. You can burn a whole day looking for rocks, and you may only catch 2 fish. But it is some of the most fun that I've ever had in my life. I have not had experience with anything other than a fish being in the hole. I have had experience with cottonmouths on top of the rock that I was noodling on, and you find those typically after you figure out there's a fish in there. But as far as, I don't worry about beavers, because beavers make their nest with logs, not with rocks. So I've never had any encounter with beaver or a snake or a turtle underwater. I got a lot of my Native American culture on the Cherokee side from my father. He was a Cherokee citizen, and my grandma was a first language speaking Cherokee, full blood. And her brothers, Dad learned to do it from his uncles, my grandma's brothers. I'm not sure if it's something the Cherokee people have done throughout our whole culture. I can't say that for certain, but I do know it's been going on in my family, and it's been part of my culture since I was a kid. And before I was old enough to go with my father, he was going noodling with his uncles and having all kinds of fun. Once I got old enough to go, then he started taking me, which was when I was about 7 or 8 years old. That's as in touch with the land as you can possibly get in a sense. You're not using any tools, you're not using any technology. It's you, it's nature, and it's the chase.